On today's show, are the Houston Rockets title contenders? And is there no world where the trade is a win for the Phoenix Suns? All that and more on today's Locked On NBA Gameless Night right now.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
And welcome. You're locked on to NBA Gameless Night. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of Locked On Mavericks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being in every day or making Locked On NBA your first listen. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. And joining me from Locked On Pelicans, what'd you see in the NBA tonight, Jake Madison?
Oh, man, look, it's, we're in the offseason now, aren't we? And it's not going to be officially. We went as long as we could here, and it's only going to get more exciting. This is awesome.
We're ready for
that there's no games. There's still fireworks every day.
We're ready for the draft. This is like when some NBA fans come alive. The draft is coming up. We've already had two massive trades. We'll probably have some more.
There's more coming.
I don't think the Suns can keep 9 shooting guards, can they?
What if your whole team was 2 guards that all played the same position, including a team with just Grayson Allen and Dylan Brooks on it? They're just the most unlikable team possible here.
Imagine Devin Booker liking his life at all. So we're going to talk about, we'll talk about some of that. We'll talk about the Kevin Durant trade, obviously. We'll talk about who's the favorite in the East right now. We got the FanDuel odds. And so let's talk about who actually should be the favorite. We'll also play Count It Up, where we count on the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. I'm doing mostly finals. A lot of fun final stuff, including Michelob Ultra, former sponsor of ours, may not have been very happy that they sponsored the NBA Finals celebration last night.
Look, the most wholesome celebration. We don't know how to pop bottles because we're all too young, and I'm just there being like,
we'll get into all that.
YouTubing in the locker room how to open champagne. Like, it's not hard.
Hey, the kids TikTok, their tutorials now.
Number one search engine.
We'll talk about all that and more, but let's get into it. I've got statements from Locked On hosts, the Locked On local experts, about the Kevin Durant trade, and you got to give me a true or false on these statements. First up, Jackson Gatlin, Locked On Rockets, opens his show on the Kevin Durant trade reaction. The Houston Rockets are now title contenders.
Show that.
He opened it later in the afternoon. He opened his show and said the Houston Rockets are now title contenders. True or false, Jake Madison?
Yeah, true. It better be true. You were this 2 seed, and then you traded for Kevin Durant while fleecing the Suns and not giving them much of anything here. You better be title contenders. You make this move to be title contenders because look, and we'll talk about this with the Suns' multiple statements about this, right? It doesn't tend to end well with Kevin Durant. And so you better make the most of this opportunity. Otherwise, you'll hear all the depressing things we're going to say about the Phoenix Suns in a second. You're there, and that's not a great thing. So the 2 seed that struggled to score in the playoffs, you add a dude that is a bucket even at this age. Yes, you better be title contenders, and I do think they are.
Considering the injuries we're going to see in the East and the players that are not going to play this season, I think they're like the second best team in the NBA potentially, maybe third behind the Cavs. But it's going to be fascinating to see how it all works on the court and to see how they make it make sense and to see how Alfred Şengün and him work together. Do they still do the Steven Adams, Alfred Şengün lineups? Like, do they try that and everything? And so I'm very interested to see how that all works out. But I have a hard time imagining them beating the Thunder. So are they really title contenders if they can't be the Thunder? Like, if I don't believe that.
So I call a title contender just like a conference finalist, right? Like a team that, like one of the final 4 teams, I think you can safely say like those teams are all title contenders. Like I could see them in the conference finals. I'm not saying they're going to get there, but like to me, that's not at all like outside the realm of possibility with them. They're going to be very good defensively again. We've seen how far that can take you with both the Thunder and the Pacers too, right? The Pacers at times really ramped up their defense as the season went on. Yeah. If you have that kind of fundamental in place, I think adding a guy like Kevin Durant to make just life easier for everybody, that is going to work. I mean, the biggest question with Durant, right, is going to be health. That's been an issue the past couple of years. And at his age, is he going to be able to make it through a full season, a full postseason? That's going to ultimately be what kind of determines it or not. But at least on paper, yeah, they look like title contenders to me.
It has seen the last couple of years, especially the healthiest team at the end wins. That's what happened this year. Thunder were the healthiest team at the end. Last year, the Celtics were the healthiest team. Luka was dealing with all his injuries. Like, he had a calf strain the whole time. The same injury that Tyrese Haliburton had. He had the whole time. Now, 2022, you go back to that one, and Steph Curry, older player, was able to be healthy the whole time. I'm looking at this Mavs team right now and saying, all right, can Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis stay healthy for that long of a playoff run? And I'm worried about them. Kevin Durant is 37, gonna be 38. I'm interested to see if he can last that long in a playoff run, because look at some of the players that didn't make it through this one. It is very tough to get through a full playoff slate.
Oh, I agree. And like, I think the other thing to think about it too is, right, like, get ready for a whole year of like load management talk about Kevin Durant and try to kind of keep him healthy, right? But maybe they're able to do that a little bit more. They didn't give up anyone that you didn't want to get rid of. Like, they got rid of their worst contract in Jalen Green, and a guy that they were better with him off the court than on the court here. So given that you still kind of have everything that got you where you are, you can probably do more load management, as much as I'm loath to say that here, when it comes to Kevin Durant. And that probably is going to help, right? But on the flip side of that, we've seen the Clippers try and do that. And then you get into the postseason with a team that looks like they don't know each other at all. And you need that chemistry. You need all of that to go on a bigger postseason run. That might be, actually talking about it out loud with you, my biggest concern with them. Like, are they going to be a cohesive group by the time you get to the playoffs, or are they going to have tried to keep guys healthy, and is that going to be a problem?
I'm actually the least concerned about that. Kevin Durant, I was listening to Locked On Rockets and Locked On Suns. Kevin Durant is such a plug and play player that they didn't really, like, the Rockets didn't even really have like an organized offense that much, right?
No, like, because they were terrible,
right? And so you just, all right, Kevin Durant, just go do your thing every once in a while, and hey, you can float through games, and we'll create some wide open opportunities for you, and then you just get a bucket when you need it. And I think that's interesting. I want to move to the Suns side of this. True or false from Brendan Clean, Locked On Suns? There is no world where this trade is a win for the Suns. That was said by Brendan Clean, Locked On.
Yeah,
Suns.
that's true, right? Like, that's absolutely
none?
true. So here's the thing, right? You got the 10th pick. Great. Very, very happy for you guys. You have a roster that makes 0 sense. So you're not going to be good. You got the 10th pick this year. If that guy becomes an MVP level player, then you'll feel good about it.
Yeah,
but they didn't get other.
Wasn't he like the 11th pick? Wasn't Jalen Williams? Wasn't he like?
They're in there. Like, look, I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's not likely. The issue is they didn't get any of their future draft picks back. They still don't control their future. So even if again, they have 25 shooting guards on the team here, and some guys that aren't good scorers, but 2 guards that defend. Like, okay, cool. You're terrible this year. So what? Yeah, nice 10th pick that you can't pair anybody with because you don't have a high lottery pick, even though you're bad. They did not get better for this coming year. They got worse. That's safe to say. They did not do anything to change their trajectory for the future. That's the worst possible spot to be in, right? Like, this is why, speaking from the New Orleans side, whenever you see a Giannis trade talk, the Pelicans are kind of involved in it because the Bucks need to get their own picks back. Otherwise, what's the point of being bad?
Yeah.
Now the Phoenix Suns have a crappy roster. They can't tank and be bad because they don't control their draft future. It's the worst spot they could possibly be in.
Especially since nobody is going to buy into Jalen Green. Like, they thought maybe they could take Jalen Green, and there's all that talk about them canvassing the league to see what kind of value he had.
No one wants him.
And to flip him. And so that's that. Now, since they're not going to get that, you didn't get the young, interesting player that other teams would be interested in. You did get a 10th pick. And here's the next statement I'm going to read you. Brendan Clean said, the whole trade is that pick, number 10. And then he said, this trade was a disaster.
Yeah, look, cool. Like, enjoy Kasparos Yakichonis, right? Like, I hope he becomes a really good player, because that's the only thing of like massive value that really helps you. That's gonna be there for you, huh?
Doesn't he play the 2 too?
He's a point guard.
He's
kind of like a combo guard, but more of a point guard than anything. But it's like, look, the 10th, this is a 1-person draft, kind of a 2-person draft. You know this, and maybe you don't, because you don't need to do draft coverage.
Only a 1-person draft to me.
Yeah, right. You don't need to talk about much else.
Me and the Rizzler.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture of Cooper Flagg and the Rizzler yesterday?
It's So, like, look, the draft tends to fall off right around like 7, 8, I think, in terms of players. Like, cool, 10th pick is nice. It could be someone good. It's more likely going to be like a rotation level, like bottom level starter. That doesn't help you at all for what they're trying to do, right? What this is going to lead to is a Devin Booker trade eventually. We don't need to do that now, but that's where it's going.
The last time the Suns had the 10th pick, they selected Jalen Smith.
Cool.
He was hanging out. I don't know. Is he still in Indiana?
I have no idea where he is.
Don't know where he is. Is that a good sign? Probably not.
Probably not.
Sign. Lots of other statements. Go listen to Locked On Suns.
And their GM is totally qualified to make this pick after like 1 year of working in the NBA.
Another thing I was going to mention is Matt Ishbia sent a note to his whole staff and said, hey, this trade is on me. So the backlash should all go to me. So, all right, it's on Matt Ishbia. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but the pick is going to be on the GM who just got elevated after 1 year in the league. Look, they're probably going to take Jace Richardson. Yeah, from Michigan State.
Oh, what fun the Suns are. Go listen to Locked On Suns. They need some encouragement and like just some help in life. Like just go help them. Locked On Rockets is over the moon. Locked On NBA Daily, too. Great stuff all the time there. All right, coming up, let's talk about who is the favorite in the East. It's hard to tell. The Celtics have fallen out. They're fourth odds by FanDuel right now. They've fallen off. Orlando made a big move. New York doesn't have a coach. Cleveland, what are they? We'll talk about all that and more coming up. Locked On NBA Game Night continues next. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by Monarch Money. Go check out Monarch Money because there's too many things. There's too many things. Just like the Suns have too many shooting guards, there are too many things that you can spend money on. Go check out, see what is available for you, and you can connect all of your different apps, accounts, investments, spending all in one place. I connected like my 401k, my mortgage, my student loans, like all the different types of money things, whether it's you have no money or less money in one thing, or you have money in another thing. You can connect all those things in one spot. I love that about it. It's complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investing, and spending all in one place. You can stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Check it out. Easy collaboration as well. You can manage your money with a partner. It's smoother than ever, and you can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com/LOCKEDONNBA. Again, that code is LOCKEDONNBA. 50% off your first year. Code LOCKEDONNBA, all one word, for half off your first year. Today's episode is also brought to you by Open Phone. If you're a small business owner, you know that there's so many different things that you're trying to do all at once. Just like the Suns have so many different shooting guards they're going to have to figure out how to do minutes for. But you don't want to miss out on an opportunity for a client or to make a sale or to do whatever you need to do. You don't want to miss that opportunity. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone or your computer. They also have a shared inbox feature that's a game changer. Anybody on your team can jump into a conversation instantly without missing a beat, so that you don't have to be up all the time worrying, wondering. AI agents can handle after-hours calls if you want. Answer common questions, capture leads. You never miss a customer. Open Phone is open and offering our listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OPENOPO. Oh my God. Open Phone. OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over. No extra charge. No missed calls. No missed customers. The consummate professional.
Was it your birthday last night?
My camera started freaking out and it threw me off. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA. Being an everyday, listening to the show every day. We have a daily Locked On show that covers your team. Locked On Suns, Locked On Thunder. Locked On Thunder is going to have some fun for the next couple weeks or so, talking about that title. And that one never goes away. In the East, though, we've got every single team covered. Who is the favorite in the East? We've got the FanDuel odds right now that have just come out. Here are the odds. Let me just go through like your top 10, okay? Cleveland, #1 to win the East. Makes sense. They were great last year. We're probably just going to lose Ty Jerome, and they'll run it back next year. New York, they don't have a coach, but still good team, all that. Orlando just made the Desmond Bane trade. They're #3. Boston moves all the way down to #4, losing Jason Tatum. He's that big of a loss for them. Philadelphia at #5. Kind of shocked me, but I guess if you have to consider the possibility that they would be healthy, right? Usually we think about teams, what would they look like if they're healthy? Usually I look at the Sixers and assume that they won't be healthy. The Pacers, #6. That's a massive drop for them with Haliburton, even though that's kind of where they finished the regular season this year. Detroit, #7. Milwaukee with an MVP candidate, #8. Miami at 9, and then Toronto at 10. Atlanta at 11, which is a little surprising. The favorite in the East should be who, Jake Madison?
It should be the Cavs, right? Like they got the right team here. It's the healthiest team too, going into next season. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things here. There's the fewest questions about them. I think they were great in the regular season. They were banged up in the playoffs, and went up against a very hot Pacers team too. I think that really kind of factored into that, but they were favored in that series for a reason. They looked great. They made noticeable strides with a head coaching change. As you said, they're going to run it back and have the continuity. That seems like a recipe for at least the majority of the success. So I think they definitely got that right. I get the Knicks being number 2. Again, it's health. They were good this past year. I think, they think a head coaching change is going to make a big difference for him. TBD on that, in my opinion, but it's the Cavaliers, I think. Although I'm a big Desmond Bane guy. And absolutely love that trade for the Orlando Magic. So I'm really curious on what that team is going to look like next year.
Are the Cavs the healthiest? Darius Garland's going to miss the start of the season.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's a valid point. But he's going to miss what, 1 or 2 first or second month of the year?
I don't know that he's going to miss enough time that it would change my answer. I think I'm with you that it should be the Cavs. We're going to do this thing all season with them. Every game night you're going to see a locked on, we're going to do the Cavs. The Cavs will win a game. We'll go, okay, but what happens when they make it in the playoffs? Can they do it when the lights are the brightest? And that's fair because we don't know the answer to that. And so far it's been they can't get it done. So yeah, I think it is Cleveland. But Orlando, if we're talking about who's going to win in the playoffs, like who can make it happen, I'm looking at that Orlando team because I think they added exactly what they needed. They've got the defense, and they really, to me, I've said this a couple times, they're built like the Celtics were built. They've got the 2 power wings that can score and can handle and do all that kind of stuff, and then they have the defensive scoring guards with Desmond Bane and Jalen Suggs. But health is a big thing for them too. Jalen Suggs missed a ton of time, and he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, and you looked at them when they were healthy before the injuries to Banchero, to Wagner, and all those guys really derailed them. They were a good team. Yeah. They looked legitimately very, very good. Now they've got a little bit of like seasoning on them. They added the right kind of guy. When you're looking at it on FanDuel, like looking at the odds of like what would be smart to jump on, kind of them getting third best odds here, plus 440 seems like that's worth taking a flyer on, I think, like right now, where that, as we get closer to the regular season and things change, like they seem pretty safe and stable to be a very top team in the East.
Is there any scenario where the Philadelphia 76ers win the East?
No.
None.
Look,
none at all.
I cover the New Orleans Pelicans, right? Like, yeah, let's play that. If they're a healthy game, I do that every year too, right? Like it doesn't work out that way. Those guys kind of have shown you who they are at this point in time. And when you look at a lot of the draft rumors about the Philadelphia 76ers wanting to trade down from that 3rd spot, and it seems like if they do trade down, they're targeting a guy like Dukes Kamen Malawach, the center, right? Like that says something about how you feel about Joel Embiid, that you basically want to draft an insurance policy there. And I think at this point, as good as Joel Embiid is, as great as he is, like we know how this is going to go. We've seen this play out. We've seen this movie before. Maybe it'll be different, but are you willing to bet on it being different? Like absolutely not. Paul George can be up and down a little bit when it comes to it, right? They have some nice young pieces there. They could add one at 3 or trade down, so they have some flexibility to really remake their roster. But overall, look, if Embiid's not fully healthy for the whole season, they're going to struggle at times, and it's as simple as that, in my opinion.
I could see a maxi leap. Obviously, Joel Embiid would have to be healthy, but my one case would be that the Clippers made a conference finals in the West. They were healthy the 1 year, but Kawhi didn't make it all the way there, and they still made it out. It is possible for some of these teams to do it. It's wild to me Milwaukee is all the way down at 8. They have an MVP candidate. Like, is this going to be the season?
Who else?
Is this going to be the season the Mavs had in 2023, where it's Luka and nobody else, and then they make the Kyrie trade by the end of the season?
Okay, so let me ask you this, right? So Lillard, we're just assuming is going to miss the whole regular season.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you feel good about Kyle Kuzma being your number 2 and how far that's going to take you?
Sounded like a threat.
A little bit.
Are you sure?
Do
you
sure?
want Kyle Kuzma?
Look, okay, if I tell you.
Could you handle Kyle Kuzma?
Kyle Kuzma is the second best player on a team that makes, if we were to play real or fake or something like that, true or false, right? Kyle Kuzma is the second best player on a conference finalist. What's the answer?
Oh, false.
Right, okay, there you go. False. Yeah, it was like absolutely false. That's what it is for them right now, right?
The Mavs did go, hilariously, the Mavs did go into 2023, and their second best player was Spencer Dinwiddie.
Look, we've seen stranger things happen. I agree with you on that. But yeah, I'm not going to like bank on it here. You know, the problem is like when you have these kind of injuries to guys that make so much money. Damian Lillard's making $54 million next season, and you don't get any of that production. That just kills you. Absolutely
wild. So let us know who you think is going to be the favorite in the East. Let us know in the comment section on YouTube or our socials or whatever. Go check out the other great shows. Locked on Cavs, we're talking about their team all offseason. Locked on Knicks as well. Celtics, Magic, great stuff from them all the time. Check out those shows, guys. Coming up, let's talk about the finals. There's some really fun things that happen after and during the finals, and we're going to talk about it on Count It Up. Count It Up. Coming up. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Gameless Night brought to you by FanDuel. We've been talking about FanDuel. Let's talk about the West side here. Thunder plus 130 to win the West next year. That seems like it should be minus odds. It feels like I should be getting minus odds there. It's wild that I'm getting plus 130. You can bet $100 to win 130. So maybe take advantage of that right now. Rockets plus 550. Timberwolves plus 800. Lakers plus 800. Nuggets plus 900. Clippers plus 1300. Warriors plus 1600. What? Spurs plus 1700. Mavs plus 2000. And placing wager. And check out FanDuel. There's all kinds of great stuff on there. You can check out WNBA stuff as well for page backers of my Dallas Wings. You can use all kinds of new daily promotions that they have all the time. Same game parlays. And if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. If you got a guaranteed, like, hey, I'm definitely getting this one. Put down that $5. You get $150 in bonus bets to use on whatever. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Please gamble responsibly.
Big chicken, baby.
I think a lot. I'm very smart.
Take that for that.
I like being on with the sound effects with you.
Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. It's Count It Up, where we count out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. Let's talk all about the finals. I got a bunch of them here. Isaiah Hartenstein said that the Thunder couldn't pop the champagne bottles in the locker room because no one other than Alex Caruso knew how to do it. So Caruso had to give the team a tutorial on how to pop champagne bottles before they were able to actually celebrate. They all just kind of stood in the room for a little bit, and it was very mellow while they're all sitting there trying to open it. My question is this endearing or is it scary considering how young all these guys are?
So it's endearing. It's definitely endearing. It's adorable and wholesome, and we need more things like that. But yeah, also it's not hard. You just open it, like you pull out the cork. Like they're NBA players. They're strong. It feels like this shouldn't be a problem.
They should have just given them swords. You ever open one with a sword? Like, have you ever seen people do that?
You could do it with just like a butter knife and you saber it off. It's pretty easy. That's a little, you got to be somewhat careful there. But like, yeah, they should have just done this.
It's wild though. Like Sam Presti was asked about this, and he goes, "Yeah, some of them are too young to drink. Like they couldn't even participate." Like
I didn't even thought about that. Wait, really?
Yeah. Like AJ Mitchell and like some of their Topic and like some of their new draft picks. I mean, Jalen Williams wild. And both Jalen Williams said that it was their first drink when they won the championship.
Yeah, I heard that.
So let's move to this one. During the championship celebration in the locker room, Jalen Williams from Arkansas, who like won the championship celebration to me, by the way. He was everywhere, and I loved seeing every moment of it. He was in the locker room, and he took his very first sip of beer. It was a Michelob Ultra, and his face is hilarious. If you haven't seen the clip yet, go find it, because he immediately takes it, and it's like he took a swig of medicine. Like it's like it tasted so bad to him. Chet Holmgren then in his press conference called it Michelob Ultra instead of Michelob Ultra. My question is, do you think Michelob regrets sponsoring the NBA Finals celebration?
Yeah, probably. Like that's not a good look for your beer, right? Like one, Michelob Ultra, they're not a sponsor anymore, right? We're good here.
They could be again though, Jake.
Okay. So look, it basically tastes like water. So like you take a sip of that and there's not much flavor in it compared to other beers. Maybe if you don't like the taste of beer is exactly what you're looking for, non-beer drinker, get a Michelob Ultra.
So he's not going to be the voice of Michelob Ultra when they go back.
No, it serves its purpose. But like,
it tastes like sports to me. Every time I go to a sporting event, it's a Michelob Ultra. That's the beer of choice.
I'm a Bud heavy guy, but I live in the South.
I also live in the South.
That's true. You're in Dallas. So like, no, like that should not be the beer that makes you make that face though. So that says something.
Like, I don't think he's getting into any dark. Like, he's not getting any Guinness or any kind
try
of
like an IPA, man. He's gonna be like, "What is this?"
Yes, he's like, why? This is what people have been drinking and making a big deal about in breweries.
It should be an opportunity for like one of the seltzer companies to just like slide right on in.
What about like Tom Holland's alcoholless beer? Have you? What would Jalen Williams do with that?
Why would I know what that is?
Tyrese Haliburton is the third player in this playoffs to tear his Achilles during the playoffs. They all wore the number 0. Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, and Tyrese Haliburton. My question is, scale of 0 to 5, 0 being not at all, 5 being absolutely 100%. How much is the number cursed?
Whew. Okay, so you can't rule it out. Like I'll go like a 1.75. I'm not gonna believe into that too much, but that's 3 players all wearing 0 is something.
All wearing 0.
Yeah.
This is wild too. This is at least a 3. It's a curse number. If you're wearing 0,
that's
Kobe White, whoever else.
That's super weird.
All wearing 0.
That's super weird.
We gotta look up if they were all like Capricorns or something.
I'm actually curious for our listeners. So like, please comment in the bottom down on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you like 0 or 00 as a number? What do you think, Nick? Like, I know some people who love it, and then some people are like, that's the worst numbers that you could choose.
Oh, I'm fine with that. I don't care.
I think they're cool.
Like Agent 0 for Gilbert Arenas when he was.
There should be more like double zeros and things like that. I think that'd be fun. Before
he was talking on a microphone was good.
Yeah.
That was fun. Okay, so that's just fascinating to me. They're all the same number. Isaiah Hartenstein's baby was out cold in his dad's arms during a very loud trophy celebration. My question to you, Jake Madison, as a grown adult man, count it up. What would you give to be able to sleep like that again?
It'd be up there. I will tell you, especially during the season when sometimes we're up doing game night when it's not gameless night till like 2 in the morning or something like that, and you got to go to bed and then be up early, and then you struggle to fall asleep or whatever. Yeah, like I
would
might
you
be
pay
really
a subscription service to be able to sleep like that?
I was like, I might trade some of my regular beers for that non-alcoholic beer that you just said.
It was amazing. And everybody was yelling at him
to
support the head.
His teammates are coming up being like, what are you doing, man?
Support the neck. Oh, that was so great. I can't wait till that kid is older and it like gets to look back at those moments and be like, there's me. I was right there. Like the same as like, Riley Curry sitting at the podium and stuff like that.
Also good for Isaiah Hartenstein. It means he's probably sleeping through the night if his kid is sleeping through the night.
Well, no, his kid was sleeping there. His kid's not going to sleep when they get back home. Then.
True. Not that night, but like there's probably other nights where he puts the kid down and it's like, cool, we can make all the noise we want. It's fine. You could just have a party over there if they knew how to pop champagne.
He said he didn't know how to. ESPN's crew showed the Tyrese Haliburton injury over and over and over again. My question is, is this insensitive and unnecessary or necessary to show viewers what happened if they're checking in for the first time?
You don't need to do it that much. Like there's ways to fill it in. You could also use still images, like even just showing him walking to the locker room with the towel wrapped around his head and being supported by 2 people. Like if you took a still of that, like that's enough. And at a certain point it was like, so one of my bigger issues with it is this, and I texted a couple friends with this, right? And I said, is it possible to feel bad for both teams? And this is probably in the second quarter or so where, all right, I feel bad for the Pacers that Haliburton's not playing, and that really sucks and mars the finals. But it's also going to overshadow this title a little bit, I think, for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I've read a couple of things today about that alone, where it's like there's a big what if hanging over this finals, and it shouldn't take away from the Thunder. They were a near historically good team. They won 84 total games, right? There's only been like 5 or 6 teams that have ever done that or something. So, but this kind of hangs over them a little bit. And so if you don't want that, and that's probably not the narrative people want being put out there, you've got to dial back some of the Tyrese Haliburton coverage a little bit, I think. And they leaned into it a little too much, especially because look, the Pacers were in that. They were up 1 point at halftime. They were right in it until they weren't. And then they still kind of came back. Like they're still a very good team. It just took away from everything else. I think I get you need the context of it, but like there's ways to do that. And also maybe you shouldn't try and cater to people that are turning the game on in the middle of the third quarter and kind of work with the people that have been watching it from the beginning.
I also didn't need the whole clip. Just give me the slow-mo of him banging his fist on the ground. Like
to do. Yeah.
That would have been good enough for me. I cringed every time you could see, like, because every time they showed it again, I knew exactly where I should look. Like that leg, which spot on the leg, and everything. And every time I cringed because I knew that you're just gonna feel that.
Yeah.
Oh, like you know when you have like the sympathy, you feel it in your leg when you see those kind of injuries. Oh, brutal. Bonus one. TJ McConnell's mom tried to shoo away a camera operator while she was holding her son who was in tears in the tunnel after Game 7. My question is, count it up. Who's right, Miss McConnell or the camera person?
Miss McConnell. I'm not going against her. Are you kidding me? Like, not a chance am I going to say otherwise.
The camera person was going down the tunnel, a normal thing that they would normally do. Like, he's not in a private place yet.
I don't know. Sometimes in those moments of like deep emotion and things like that, like, look, your camera has a zoom, like zoom in.
But the thing is that they were in the tunnel. It's like he could, if he turns left or right, he's looking at walls. If he goes back on he had to go forward. So that was an interesting one to me.
Still not going to go against his mom, man.
No, I'm not either.
Like, I get it.
The thing about us focusing on people crying, like they did this at the Little League World Series sometimes, where you're just like, why are we showing this 10-year-old like legitimately crying?
I'm all for like the sad fans in the stands, like especially with like a heartbreaking loss or something like that, where like I kind of enjoy that depending on how it goes. But like, I don't know, I think players who just like went through it is an entirely different thing.
Last bonus one. Bonus. It's about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was traded on Sunday, right? While he was on stage with the great Taylor Rooks at Fanatics Fest during a boardroom panel. Kevin Durant is part of boardroom, owns part of it, whatever. He's got a vested interest in boardroom, the company. This is count it up. A crazy coincidence or clearly planned and orchestrated by Kevin Durant?
So honestly, I'm going to go like a little more planned with Kevin Durant here. Look, he knew he was being traded. He could have canceled the appearance. Like, you didn't need to put yourself in that position. Like, he knew what was going on here. He knew when it was probably going to go down. We know him. He loves this kind of stuff secretly, deep down in his like heart of hearts. This was orchestrated.
When I saw
might have been like a coincidence in timing of it, but like he didn't like back out of it to step away from it.
It would only have been less of a coincidence and more planned. It would have been more planned if he had like his gold shoes around his neck, just like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did with his shoes. Like if he had the new KD, 10, 11, whatever they are. It seemed planned to me, but it was incredible. Like I don't think I've ever seen something like that before, where the player learns that they're being traded in front of a crowd where they all have their phones out anyway, recording him. Like that was just such a wild moment.
I was here in New Orleans during the All-Star game when DeMarcus Cousins found out he was being traded.
Was he in front of a panel?
It was during All-Star. Yeah, he was giving an interview, and the question was like, "What do you think about New Orleans?" And he started to answer, and then someone comes up to him. You can find a video of this. Whispers in his ear, and then he smiles and goes, "New Orleans is like one of my favorite cities," because they basically informed him he was just traded to the Pelicans while he's in New Orleans for All-Star weekend.
Harrison Barnes got traded during a game. He was on the Mavs bench. That's probably the closest that I think we could get.
I've seen that too. That happened with Brandon Ingram this year. They pulled him from the bench, sent him to the locker room. He didn't come out. He was out injured. And then like an hour into the game, they're like, "Oh, he's being traded." Or right after, I forget it was like, "Oh, yep, they pulled him."
Wild. Jake, we got to redo the show. Shams Charania, Washington Wizards, 3-time All-Star. Chris Middleton picks up his option.
Could have been on Milwaukee and we would have had a different conversation earlier.
Could have started the show with that. Go check out all our great shows. Locked on Suns, Locked on Thunder, Locked on Pacers, Locked on Rockets, great Pelicans, Mavs. We'll be having stuff all through the offseason. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked on NBA Gameless Night. Now go listen to Locked on NBA Daily. Matt Hayes and Doug are holding you down there, wherever you're listening and watching this.